Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Dave Cokin of WagerTalk.com. We're talking bowl games here, 4 p.m. on ESPN, January 2nd, Saturday. We got the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, Oregon Ducks versus Iowa State Cyclones as the Pac-12 and Big 12 face off here in a top 25 showdown, Dave. It looks like Oregon catching four, so we got Iowa State, the Cyclones, minus 4-point favorites. 57.5 being the total. This, of course, in Glendale, Arizona. What are you thinking in the Fiesta Bowl, Dave?
Well, Iowa State was playing absolutely fabulous ball at the end of the season. I know people talked about, they lost to Louisiana. Well, first of all, Louisiana was a pretty good football team. And secondly, that was ages ago. Iowa State is playing at an extremely high level to close the season. And if they maintain that positive momentum, and I know they lost the conference title game to Oklahoma, but they showed well in that game. Good comeback, made it really interesting at the end. If Iowa State plays at that level, Oregon's not going to be able to beat them. The Ducks are okay, but like most of the Pac-12, they're not a great football team. There are no great football teams in the Pac-12 this year. That's why that you got to a conference title game with a team that was unbeaten, and they had no chance to make the playoffs. And they didn't deserve to have a chance to make the playoffs. Oregon's done some good things. They're, by no means a bad football team, but they're the second best team when you match these two up. And particularly, I like the fact that Iowa State has the better running game and the better defense against the run. And if you just back those teams in bowl games, you basically turn a profit every single season. It's a fundamental handicap. It works. And I think that's the way to go here. Iowa State, not in a blowout, but I think Iowa State wins this one convincingly enough to cover the spread.
Yeah, no disagreement here, Dave. I mean, Iowa State just having to cover a number of four. We get them under a touchdown, might be a buy low opportunity. 8-3 in the Big 12, 6-5 ATS, whereas Oregon 4-2 straight up, just 3-3 against the number, and down the stretch, just 1-2, all away games though. A controlled climate here, 57.5 as the total. You mentioned, Dave, in terms of Iowa State, better against the run and also better running the football. Do you see Iowa State kind of keeping it on the ground, running the clock, and maybe looking towards an under here in the bowl game, getting near 60?
Well, I don't even look at totals because I just never do totals ever in football.
Okay.
I haven't played a football total in, I don't know, years because I'm no good at them. So I just look at the sides, and that's it. And the matchup to me favors Iowa State. Also, I believe there's a coaching edge. I think Matt Campbell is simply better than Mario Cristobal. And I think he's going to have his team ready. The one thing we know, we've said this several times about Iowa State, is they have a tendency to play to the level of their competition. Sometimes they play down when they're playing a weaker opponent. They play up when they're playing a stronger opponent. I think they're going to look at Oregon as a stronger opponent. They're going to look at this as maybe being the road team, so to speak, because it's in a Pac-12 location. I think Campbell's going to have his team ready for this game. And if they are, I just don't think Oregon can beat him.
Yeah, Dave, I see it as well. I mean, against that Oklahoma team, they went head-to-head with them, in a competitive matchup, and now facing a Pac-12 team that I actually find very difficult to handicap, Dave. I mean, talking about the Pac-12 schedule so far this year, Oregon and really the whole Pac-12 in general, do you find it as kind of a volatile handicap just with the short sample size?
Because there's no real good teams in the conference. So they cannibalize themselves on a regular basis. Nobody was head and shoulders above anybody. You could argue that Arizona was head and shoulders below everybody. And they solved that when they got rid of Sumlin, who was a disaster. But the rest of the conference, I mean, it was just a toss-up from week to week. I actually did pretty well in the Pac-12 this season. I'm happy with that. But I just don't think a lot of the league. And, you look back at the Iowa State-Oklahoma game, just to touch on that for a moment. That's a game where Oklahoma got out in front big, and it looked for all intents and purposes like they would wipe the floor with Iowa State. This Cyclones team never quits, and they came firing back in that game. And I'll tell you what, it got real interesting at the end. Basically, Iowa State was one good play away from stealing that game. This is a good football team.
Yeah, well-coached football team like you touched on. Motivation should be there. Iowa State minus the 4 looks to be the look in the Fiesta Bowl. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoy the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl on January 2nd. Reminder, WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com each and every Monday. $9 Monday. No matter the play, no matter the handicapper, all plays discounted to just $9. So check it out at both websites, SportsMemo and WagerTalk.com.